Thank you, Chairman. Director Samuels, I actually want to ask you about a particular prison in my state that's important, especially it's in Coos County. It's FCI Berlin. And I wanted to ask about what the status is of staffing at that facility. Warden Tatum has indicated that the facility was staffed at about 290 and that there were about 1,200 incarcerated individuals there. Can you give me an update on levels and also what the ultimate goal is for capacity there and staffing?
Yes, thank you, Senator. Right now, with the plan for continued activation of the facility, we are working very, very closely with the warden staff there to ensure that our recruitment efforts remain on target. And we're also ensuring that as we build a population, that we're making sure that the inmate to staff ratio is where it needs to be, so we don't have more inmates in the facility until we're very comfortable with the number of staff that we have at the facility. And this is continuing to progress. I know there was a concern at one period of time where the applicant pool was not necessarily where we would like it, but with the recruitment efforts, we're starting to see that we have a very good pool for hiring individuals to work at the facility.
So one follow-up I wanted on the applicant pool. This is an area of our state where people are always looking for more jobs. And so to get people from the area that have strong backgrounds, one of the issues that's been a challenge is the 37-year-old age restriction. And has the Bureau of Prison actually re-examine this? I know I've previously written the Bureau of Prison on this issue, but it's important that my constituents have an opportunity that live in the area to work there.
Yes, thank you again, Senator. Our focus is to make sure that we are aggressively hiring from the local community, as well as looking at veterans. And we do have the ability for individuals who are applying, who've served, to grant waivers, and we are in the process of doing that.
Well, that's very good to know, and I appreciate your prioritizing hiring people from the community. I know they're anxious and would like opportunities to work there, as well as our veterans, so I really appreciate your doing that. And I think you'll find that they're a really dedicated group of people in the area, so thank you for that. I wanted to follow up on the prior panel. There was quite a bit of discussion and criticism, actually, on the reentry program piece from the Bureau of Prison and the commitment toward where we are when someone is finished their time and putting forward successful programs and path to success, which I'm interested because, you know, with our recidivism rate, it costs us a lot financially and also to the individual, to the quality of life that the person has an opportunity to set a new start if there's not a good system in place for success. So I wanted to get your comments on what you heard in the prior panel on this issue.
Well, thank you again, Senator. And I, again, will say to everyone that reentry is one of the most important parts of our mission, along with safety and security of our facilities. And the expectation Bureau-wide is for all staff, all the men and women who work in the Bureau of Prisons, to have an active role in our reentry efforts. On any given day in the Bureau of Prisons for education, we have more than 52,000 inmates who are participating in education. We have more than 12,000 individuals actively participating in our Federal Prisons Industries program, which is our largest recidivism program in the Bureau of Prisons. Those who participate are 24% less likely to be involved in coming back to prison. And for vocational training, more than 10,000 inmates are participating. And for those individuals who participate compared to those who are not, the recidivism reduction is 33%. And you all are very familiar with our residential drug abuse program, and we also have our non-residential programs as well. And we are very, very adamant in ensuring that these programs are provided to all inmates within our population to have them involved for a number of reasons. It's safer to manage prisons when inmates are actively involved, and we are definitely trying to do our part to ensure that for recidivism reduction in this nation, that we are taking the lead. For the number of individuals who come into the Bureau of Prisons, despite all the challenges and the figures that you're hearing. The men and women in the Bureau of Prisons do an amazing job. When you look at the specific numbers relative to recidivism for the federal system, when individuals relieve, we have 80% who do not return to the federal system, 80%. Now, we have that 20% who eventually end up in state and or local, and we have always known that the overall recidivism for the federal system is 40%, those 20% that return to the Bureau and the 20% that go into the state systems. And I would just also add that when you look at the Bureau of Prisons, and there's a study that has been done that for the state correctional systems, and it's 30 plus, when you look at the overall average for recidivism is 67%. So I would still say that we have a lot of work to do. I mean, the goal is to have 100% individuals never returning. But as I've already stated for the record, the amount of growth that has occurred over that time period, we are very limited with our staffing, but it does not remove us from the commitment to our mission. If our staffing had kept pace with the growth over the years, I do believe that I would be sitting here reporting that the 80% would have been much higher.
So I want to give the Inspector General an opportunity to comment on how you think we're doing on reentry and any work that you've done on that.
We're actually, Senator, in the middle of a review of the reentry programs and the use of reentry, and we're in the middle of field work going to the institutions to look at those programs, look at the education programs because of the concerns we'd heard. So I can't give you a report yet out on it. I think we will have something later in the year for you to look at, but it is a very significant concern. One of the issues, I'll just pick up on what Director Samuel said about staffing. That's a significant issue. That's a significant safety issue, security issue, reentry, because what you see is, first of all, by most accounts, the federal staffing ratio of inmate to staff is worse than many of the state systems, what they have. And that's been exacerbated over time as the prison population has grown. There's a cascading effect of that. The director and the staff have to pull people out of other programs to do correctional work that they can't be doing some of the other programs we're all talking about. And so that, I think, is lost sometimes, and something certainly we're looking at right now, is that cascading effect. If you understaff the prisons, the director has to, first and foremost, make sure the prisons are safe.
I hope when you issue this report that you'll also give us guidance on what the models are. What are the best models for reentry? If we're going to invest more resources in this to create a better path for success for people so that they don't, so we can reduce the recidivism rate, I think your recommendations on the piece of what's working best, where we should invest resources would be really helpful. Thank you.